If you are flying to Southeast Asia and considering Finnair, particularly for a flight from Helsinki to Bangkok, here's exactly how my personal experience with this airlines was. Okay, so let's start. As I mentioned, I did fly in January, which is a prime season for a flight in Thailand, and obviously that was reflected on a flight ticket. However, I still think it was quite affordable. I was flying for 5 weeks and it was a return ticket from Helsinki to Bangkok, and the ticket costed me 770 euros. That's for a 5-week return ticket. Flight duration was estimated for approximately 12 hours. However, I think flight only took 10.5 hours, so 1.5 hours faster, which was a huge advantage and good surprise. And I booked a ticket via Google Flights. I always use Google Flights. Obviously, you do have different flight search engines or options, very popular Skyscanner for example, but I prefer Google Flights. It's a bit more clear for me, and there is a few helpful tools on the Google Flights as well, specifically price graph, so I can actually select duration of my trip and I can check what days are the cheapest to fly. I'm pretty sure it's very similar on Skyscanner, but it's much clearer on Google Flights. That's why I highly recommend that. Now let's talk about experience at Helsinki Airport. This was my very first time at this airport. I did fly from Riga to Helsinki because Riga is the place where I live now. It took me approximately 20 to 25 minutes to get from the gate where I arrived to the gate where I needed to be to leave for a Bangkok flight. Now, Helsinki Airport was, to my surprise, one of the nicest airports I have been in Europe. It was really modern, really clean. It was much bigger than I was expecting, and at the same time it was the most quiet airport I ever been to. It was very little people at the airport. I'm not sure if it was the part of the year, but I'm assuming in January you should have quite a bit of traffic, right? Many people are flying, and yeah, it was really quiet, but very modern. I was pleasantly surprised. Whole airport felt very Nordic, very Finnish. You could say whole airport is designed with the Finnish culture in mind. Everything felt very calm, cozy, and very nature inspired. The highlight of this airport was this chill zone, chill area, where they were playing sounds of Finnish nature. Sounds of a river and birds. It was very calming. I noticed a lot of people are just relaxing there. I joined them. This is very much my type of a vibe, so I really much enjoyed it, and I actually seen many people just taking a nap, so you can relax there. That area is definitely highlight. It actually felt a little bit like a wellness center, I'm not gonna lie. Even when arriving to a boarding gate, there was a huge wall with the nature themed designs, which again speaks about the whole concept of the airport, which is really Finnish nature focused. Let's talk about flight now. As I mentioned, flight was originally meant to take 12 hours, but it only took 10.5 hours. Probably wind was in our favor. I did get a seat, which is quite unusual because it was like a very first seat at the row, so I only had a wall in front of me, and obviously toilets very close as well, which in my opinion was a huge advantage because you can get to a toilet very quickly. That's great during the long flight. So I cannot particularly talk about what's the seat space like, because I had quite a bit of space. I think my seat was 51, so if you have a chance to book a seat 51, go for it. The whole plane was very clean. Staff seemed very friendly, and they actually were very friendly, but that's kind of I believe a standard at majority of big airlines. What would I highlight was entertainment. One of the best selections of movies and other programs, entertainment generally speaking. I've seen plenty of different options, games, etc., but it is a quite standard. Now I want to mention one downside, and in my opinion it is a huge downside. So if you are flying in a plane for 12 hours, food is one of the most important elements. Unfortunately, selection of the food was really limited, and when I say limited, there was no options. So basically, when I was going through the menu, there was set starter, there was set main, and there was set dessert. You couldn't choose any other desserts, you couldn't choose any other mains or starters, which was very disappointing. And at the same time, this is for a first time I experienced something like that with any airlines. So compared to any other airlines, with other airlines, you always have at least 2, maybe 3, maybe more options for a very similar price of a ticket. Obviously, for vegans and vegetarians, they had the option, but if, for example, if I wanted to have a beef instead of chicken or fish, there was no option. That was disappointing, and it really felt like a low-cost experience. Food we were served was really nice. It was tasty. I'm not saying nothing bad. Just the fact that there was no options was a little bit disappointing. You did get a tea, coffee, and unlimited juice or water during the flight, but again, this is a standard. Here I would like to highlight you need to try traditional blueberry juice or blueberry drink, Finnish one. I tried to buy one in Latvia. It didn't taste nothing like that. I'm pretty sure it's popular in Sweden as well, maybe Norway as well. Yeah, highlight of the flight, blueberry juice, so give it a go, it's very tasty. Overall experience with the Finnish Airlines was really good. Staff were super friendly. They had a great sense of humor as well, as expected from Nordic countries, since I do have a bit of experience. So service 5 stars, but food, that was the downside. So if you value calm, clean and efficient flying experience, I recommend Finnish Air. But if you value a bit more of a choices, I don't think Finnish Air will be your best choice. Basically, Finnish Air is, in my opinion, for travelers who value more of a peace and organization over any flashy perks, since limited selection of food choices. Booking tip, as I mentioned, try to use Google Flights. It is probably the most efficient tool for booking your flights. If I would fly again with the Finnish Air, most probably yes, since 770 euros to Bangkok and back was quite fair price, I think, in the prime season for a Thailand. And yeah, besides the food, whole experience was really good. I hope that video helps. Let me know if you have any more questions, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Thank you.